Hello everyone and welcome to Meet the HR show right here on MBCI. My name is Mcee Abel. Abel Opio is my real name. But anyway, this is where you learn a lot about people and what they do. Keep it here, keep it locked. This is Meet the HR show.
Welcome to Meet the HR. My name is Sylvia Wanja, and come up on your Mcee. We're here with Mcee Abel. It's going to be an amazing experience. So if you want to be an MC, let's know what exactly you need to do for you to be able to be a professional MC. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Yes, so tell the viewers who you are and what it is that you do.
That's a long stretch, but anyway. Who am I? I am an uncle, a brother, a guardian. I am many things like a son, and most of it. What I do is being an MC and a trainer, and also, yeah, I'm a communications trainer. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So how did you start your MCing journey? When did you know that, I can actually do this and pursue this profession?
Well, the year was in 2005. Come on, that's a joke. Anyway, so what happened is I came from high school. That was in 2005.
Yes.
And then my big bro took me straight to the stage. He was like, hey, we have an event at Alliance Francaise Mombasa. Would you like to do something with us? I was like, I've never done this. He's like, you need to. And then he put me on stage.
Yeah.
So the background, if you trace it, you'll find that I started all the way being on stage when I was in high school. And this is about drama, music festival in primary. Unfortunately, I went to high school where there was no music festival, like they couldn't allow us have music. And I was this fantastic public speaker, but I made it to the nationals. Yay!
Wow.
Yeah. I made it to the nationals for the music festivals. So when going to high school, there was no music allowed in that school. So we were allowed to only do drama. And so drama allowed me to have this stage presence that I rehearsed, practiced to date.
Wow.
Yes, that was the beginning. 2005. Officially started as an MC back in Mombasa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then what proceeded after?
After that, it was amazing. I think it was down to 2009 because the institution allowed me.
Yeah.
Because way late I came and joined the institution as a French student. I was studying French there. And then it allowed me to have a number of event hosting moments, which later turned to be money-making space because now people started hiring me for their gigs back in Mombasa. I remember having my first wedding. I hope this pastor is going to watch this. And
you didn't get to that. They need to know.
My first wedding, and this pastor really excited me. I got on stage. I had never done a wedding before. So I did my thing. I was copying a guy from Mombasa, Tanzania, called King Wendu. So I copied him for a very long time, and that was the act that I was putting on stage. Went for his wedding, came out very excited, told my friends, I'm going to take them out, I'm going to be paid. And as soon as I get into this matatu, there's a place called Chuda, all the way to the town, that's the CBD in Mombasa. And I had this loud ring on my phone. I knew, yes, we made it, only to be surprised to have 500 bob. And I had a band of like 8 people that I promised I'm going to take them out. So it's like, guys, I just can't pay for your fare to town. And please, everybody go home. I was so disappointed. But it was my first time actually getting paid for a wedding. So from then, it has been just a journey of ups and downs. We're turning 19 here. This year, 19, yes, in hosting.
Wow.
Yeah.
19 years.
19 years.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
When I talk about your first gig, 500 shillings.
Yeah.
And you didn't feel like maybe it's time for me to stop this, like this is not my calling.
Not really. There's no, what happens is usually we don't even know. When you start something, you don't know how much people could pay or rather paid for that act or job delivered. So we just jumped, actually I jumped into it knowing that this is for fun. I love being on stage. I love when people are reacting. I love it when an event is moving and I'm the voice of the event. I just love the whole thing. And I didn't have bills. Like, I was coming from that event, going straight to my mom's house. There was dinner, there was a bed. I mean, there are lights on, so nothing. So that's, I think it's almost everybody's journey if you do not have a mentor or somebody who's guiding you into such a particular space. So yeah, we jumped in and then realized, way later is when I realized that really hurt me.
Like, I didn't see it then, but now you feel it.
Like, yeah, I was disappointed because I couldn't afford the dinner or other treat that I promised my friends. But what I noticed was that No, this was unfair. Actually, he's a very good friend of mine. He's still a good friend of mine. He says hi in a very big way when we meet. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so growing up, there are these ideas that we have in our minds.
Yeah.
Like, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor. I want to be this. I want to be that. And parents actually call I want to be a doctor. They're like, yes, that's Dr. So-and-so. So how did your parents react to you taking Mcee's honors career?
They didn't have an option.
You didn't give them space to argue that.
Because I remember the first time I came from high school, I really wanted to be in the medical field. And so what I did was, I was on my way to register for a nursing training at, I think it was Makadara, that is in Mombasa, the Coast General Hospital. They have a nursing wing. So I was seated on the line, and I was the third person to go in. And then it hit me, I don't like this. So I told the lady who was seated next to me that you can come here, I want to leave. She was like, what? I was like, yeah. And it was, people really waited for this time. So that was my first move. I left. And I went to an institution called DALC, Digital Advisory Learning Center, which allowed us to study with programs from overseas. And I came back home with those papers. My dad was so mad. He was super mad.
Nursing?
From nursing too. And remember that was the time that some of the only fields that people knew was pilot, lawyer, doctors, what else, teachers, lecturers, professors.
Exactly.
And you see, my dad really wanted to be a professor one time in his life, but he didn't. So I think also sometimes that's what they want to see in their kids, which is not a bad thing, by the way, to be a professor or doctor or anything. But now I went, and then in that line, all you can, I think, study in that line is something to do with communication. So I went, came back home, told my dad, I'm starting with a certificate in communication. He was mad, but hey, here we are.
Here we are. Here you are as an MC. So how has your journey been like as an MC?
How do you want me to start? Do you have time? Like
yes,
this steps rolling? Because it's been interesting. As I said, 205 was my first time on stage. I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing. I knew no one who was doing it. So you get on stage and it's 205. You're being taught quite a number of things. That is to say, it's not only you on stage. So I get on stage and I think it's a solo act, now that being a stand-up comedian, which I wasn't. So I took a lot of time because I was copying King Wendu, as I said, and then you realize you have to introduce people, which I did it very wrongly, and then you realize that you have to coordinate the entire event, go backstage, who's the next artist, to work with the floor manager, and I was working with, the French, so they're quite also meticulous with what they do. And that's from 205. I really learned a lot of mistakes. I actually did a lot of mistakes. Then got into the event space. Then one of my biggest turnaround was when I was chanced to do group tours. That was my biggest turnaround, which I think we did group tours for 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like people called me the official MC of group, but I wasn't. I was just a hired MC like then, but the chance, by the grace of God, the opportunity was for 10 years. So I did it consecutively for like 10 years.
And it was a great platform for you.
For me, it was a big platform to learn, to meet people. And remember, Groove was the mother idea which birthed More Sound. So More Sound was a professional events company where got me into sort of the training where there are things like production scripts, which people don't know that events have production scripts.
Oh, they do?
They do have production scripts.
An event?
An event has a production script.
That is very, very interesting.
It has a production script because it helps you time. Like if you're doing an awards, you know who's coming next, what's happening at that time, what is to be loaded on stage, which lights are supposed to be on. It's a whole thing. Like it's a whole wonderful, they call it a Gantt chart. Beautiful. All Excel, well spread. Like if you are not in the event and I give you that, you know what to do. All you have to do, you'll struggle knowing who works where, but the event can flow all through. So whatever you are given when you're coming on stage or the rest of the people, it's a program. But there's usually a production script, which is sort of, people call it flow plan or flow ideas, like a flow production script that allows the event to go. And that allowed me now to learn from quite a number of people, because now I will be planning, and then you meet the likes of Judy Gishuru doing professionally what you want to do. You're on the backstage, and it's Jeff Koinange on stage. You're on the backstage, and there's quite a number of people. Like you meet managers for events. I was chance to meet the manager to Hugh Masekela, the late Hugh Masekela from South Africa. So there is a way it works. And before people see all these wonderful things, that somebody coming and say, ladies and gentlemen, and the next performance is back. It's too much work.
There's a lot happening in the background.
There's a lot happening in the background. Yeah. So that was my journey, sort of up and down until now.
Wow, that is so amazing.
Yeah.
From 205, straight out of high school, you can get immediately into you didn't even know anything as an amateur, but you've grown so far, and it's 19 years now?
19 years now.
19 years and still standing strong.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know there's so many misconceptions that come along with being an MC, like what it entails. Does it even give you money? Are you able to live on it? So we will know more about that when we come back after the break, guys. So don't touch that dial, don't go anywhere. We will be right back right here on MBCI TV with MC Abel.